Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so glad you're all here today. My name is Dr. Iyabo. If we've never met, I'm a pediatrician by trade. I'm an MD. I've been a doctor, a pediatrician for over 30 years. But I wear so many hats and there's so much that I love doing and there's so much that I love teaching. I'm a one-on-one dating, relationship, and marriage coach. And I want to add to that therapist because I've also helped many women heal from past hurts, from past relationships and past hurts in marriage. So if you need therapy for your dating, for your relationship life, and for your marriage life, I'm that one-on-one coach and therapist that you need. I'm a doctor by trade, but like I said, I have so many talents and I have so many gifts from God that I'm willing to share with women to help them elevate in life. Aside from my dating, relationship, and marriage coaching, there's also so much more that I teach. I teach women on business, on entrepreneurship, on branding, your online personal brand. I can help you with that, with content creation. I can help you with your finances and your money issues. I help women become financially literate. I also help with life coaching, weight loss coaching, health and wellness coaching. I help with self-esteem, self-confidence coaching. So really, I'm that one-on-one holistic coach that you need beside you that can help you with your love life, your money life, your overall image, health and wellness, and all of those things that you need. Self-confidence, self-esteem coaching. So welcome to my YouTube channel. Now, let's take care of some housekeeping things. If you happen to just run by this video and you're not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? I have over 400 videos that can absolutely change your life. So smash that subscribe button now. Just do it right now. Don't postpone it. Do it right now. Make sure that you like this video. And women, I know that my biggest platform is Instagram, but I want you to comment on this video here. Even if it's just, thank you, Dr. Iyabo, I really enjoyed this video. Comment here. Many of you enjoy my YouTube videos, then you go all the way to my Instagram channel to thank me and to post the comments. No, that's not how it works. The more comments you post here, the more YouTube will release my videos for more people because the more the algorithm will pick it up. It works just like on Instagram. So please subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment on this video, and please share this video and share my YouTube channel with any woman or even man, because some men love my content. Share it with anybody that you care about, that you believe will want to watch this video. So that was the first housekeeping thing. Second housekeeping thing, like I said, I'm a one-on-one coach that can help you with your dating life, relationship life, marriage life, business, entrepreneurship, finances, weight loss, and health and wellness. So if you want to enroll in any of my coaching programs, go to my website. It is www.driyabo.com, and you'll see the 3 programs I have there. I have my 3-day program, my 1-week program, and my overall MBA Gold Standard program, my 8-week program. So 3-day program, 1-week program, and 8-week program. So you can choose any of those. It's very easy to pay and enroll. Once I get the notification payments, we will start coaching. All of my coaching is virtual, so it doesn't matter what part of the world you're in, whether you're in the African continent, in the USA, in the United Kingdom, in Asia, wherever you are, I can coach you virtually. Whether you're in Australia or New Zealand, I'm very flexible on timing, and I'll be willing to plan with you on what time will be best for both of us. So please go to my website if you're interested. Now, if you have any questions about enrollment, send me a message on my website. It's very easy. You'll see it there where you can send me an email. I'll get the email and I'll respond. So those are all of the housekeeping things. Now let's dive into this very, very, very important topic today, because you know that there's no topic that is out of bounds to me. I discuss all of them, the controversial ones, the ones that people don't want to talk about. I discuss them because I want to keep on raising awareness and helping women as much as I can. And sometimes to help people, you do have to discuss some topics that some people don't want to hear. All those politically correct topics that people don't want to hear, I discuss them here. So let's dive right into the topic. Welcome back, everyone. Let's dive right in. The topic for today is, why do African women have a desire to date and marry white men? I know that it's a controversial topic. I know it's a topic that a lot of people discuss at home quietly, but they don't have the courage to come out to discuss it. But I am going to discuss it today. So let's just dive right in. Why do African women have a desire to date and marry white men? The first point I want to talk about is that, number one, African women who live in and out of Africa tend to be quite well educated, right? Many, I'm not saying all, many African women who live in the African continent and outside the African continent, they tend to be quite well educated. It's just something, we grew up in Africa. Most women are encouraged to go to school. In most parts of Africa, again, there will be some parts like some of the Muslim regions in Africa where women are not allowed to get an education. But in most of Africa, most women are encouraged to go to school, to complete primary school, secondary school, to go to college, which we call university in Africa. So most, or let me say many African women tend to be well educated. They prioritize education. And even the ones who are not educated, you'll find that even though they are not educated, they're very hardworking, they're very focused, they're very resourceful, very enterprising women. And a lot of them, even if they are not well educated, they know about business, they know about trading. They want to do really well for themselves. So that's the first thing I wanted to mention, that many African women tend to be very, very ambitious people. Whether they're well educated or even if they're not educated, they want to do something really well for themselves. They're enterprising, they're hardworking, they're resourceful people. And the ones who are very well educated, you find that they don't always stop at university education. They want to acquire more education. You'll find that a lot of African women who live in Africa and who are outside Africa, in the US, in the UK, they have a lot of advanced degrees. Many of them are doctors like myself. Many are lawyers, they're engineers. And even the ones who are not lawyers, doctors, or engineers, they want to strive for more. They're acquiring MBAs. And you know how I feel about advanced degrees, but that's not the topic for today. But they want more education. They're striving for MBAs, for PhDs. The nurses are going to become nurse practitioners. The nurses are acquiring masters. So you'll find that a lot of African women just really prioritize education, and they really prioritize acquiring knowledge. So, and the ones who are not well educated, like my mom was born in 1932. She was not well educated. Well, she was not educated at all. She had no formal education, but she was a really good businesswoman. So a lot of African women just want to do something great for themselves. Okay, now where the problem comes is that the African culture tends to focus more. The reason why all of these women are so enterprising and well educated and so industrious and resourceful is because in the average African home, inside and outside Africa, if both parents are African, for some weird reason, they tend to focus more on grooming the female child, right? Grooming the female child to be industrious, to be resourceful. Not that they don't encourage education. They encourage education in both the male and the female gender, but for some odd reason, which I hope that I will start to really start the conversation and raise the awareness. I'm already doing that on my Instagram, but for some odd reason, African families groom the female child a lot more to be more hardworking, to be more industrious, more resourceful. They groom them more to be able to take care of the home. They groom them more to be the ones who know how to clean, how to cook, how to be resourceful, how to be ambitious. Yes, they encourage their men to go to school to get degrees, but aside from the education, the African families don't focus on helping the male child survive as a responsible adult. All of those other talents and all of those other things that they teach the female child on how to be hardworking, on how to know how to cook, to know how to clean, to be able to take care of themselves. The female child is actually trained and parented to be able to take care of everyone. They teach the female child how to take care of their parents. Even the things you'll hear African parents saying is that, oh, it's the female child that will stay with me after she gets married. She's not going to abandon me. She will always come back and visit me. I know that you, male child, once you're married, you're gone. So they say all of these things in the home. So the male child will sit down, and the female child is the one who's cooking, who's cleaning, who's helping their mother do the dishes, and the men generally sit down and they're served, including the male child. Okay, so you can just paint the picture here as to what happens in many, I'm not saying all, in many African homes. The female child, the daughters and the mothers are the ones who basically do most things for the men. They are the ones cooking, they are the ones cleaning, taking the trash out. And cooking in an African home is not just one cooking or baking something. You're cooking 3 meals a day. You're spending your entire life in the kitchen. And it's the daughters and the mothers that are doing this. And basically the men and their male friends and the sons will sit down and they'll be served by women. So at the end of the day, this culture goes on. And these boys are being brought up in this kind of environment where they're seeing their mother and their sisters serve them as if they are the king in the home. So you can imagine the mindset that is being put in the heads of these people. So the female child is thinking to herself, okay, when I grow up, I have to keep serving everybody. Everybody comes first. I have to serve my parents, my grandparents. My mom has told me that even after I get married, she trusts that I'll be the one coming back with the grandkids. She knows that her son will be gone. So all of these things are infiltrating into the mindset of a daughter, thinking she has to cook and clean and spend all of her days in the kitchen. But they're also encouraging her to go to college. They're encouraging her to get a master's and a PhD. So she has to cook and clean and worship her parents and her grandparents and serve her husband to be in the future and serve her sons. But she also has to get an education and work. So all of this is what happens in the African home while the son sits down and enjoys like a king with his, again, I'm saying many. And I think the narrative is starting to change. There was a time that I started seeing posts on Instagram where people are saying, mothers with sons were posting things and saying, well, this is my son. I teach him how to cook. I teach him how to clean. So I think because we're talking about this so much, things are starting to change. But that's just like 2% of people. There's still a big problem here. So basically, the female child is brought up to have all of these responsibilities, to take care of herself, take care of her husband, take care of her home, take care of her parents, her grandparents, and she takes that mindset out into the world as an adult. So then she becomes a people pleaser. Okay? How do people pleasers come about? It starts from their childhood. She becomes a people pleaser. And when she finds that she's not able to do all of these roles, she abandons herself and she puts everybody else above herself, because that's what she's been taught to do. She saw her mother standing in the kitchen for 24 hours a day, still going to the market to sell things, still going to her job, coming back and cooking and cleaning and doing everything for everybody. So because you only have one brain and one heart, and because you can't do it all, what most African women end up doing is they put themselves last and they prioritize everybody else. And you can just imagine what this leads to. They gain weight, they start getting chronic illnesses, they become people pleasers because they were trained to become people pleasers. They worship their husbands, their husbands become kings. Their husbands don't do anything in the house. The same husband that was raised in the home where he sat down with his father and his father's friends doing nothing is the person that they marry. And this person is wondering, why is my wife telling me that I have to help her cook? Why is she telling me I have to help her clean? My mother did all of this without complaining. So guys, can you see the vicious cycle of how all of this comes about? And the men develop egos, of course. Then let me get into the nitty-gritty. It's even good if this little boy, this son, is brought up in a home where he even sees love, right? So even if He was brought up in a home where his mother is the one who is the servant, the cleaner, the cook. She's also working to provide money, all of that. Serving, he sees his mom serving his dad and his dad's friends, and they sit down there, and she takes after they eat, she even takes water in a bowl to them to wash their hands. They can't even get up to the kitchen to go and wash their hands. So he saw all of this, right? So even if he saw, let's say, hopefully there was a little bit of gratitude coming from his dad, or love coming from his dad, where he saw his dad being affectionate to his mom, kissing his mom, flirting with his mom, holding his mom's hands, even if he saw that little bit of affection, maybe that will even change his mindset. But no. Aside from all of the slavery that the woman has to go through, then what the son sees is dysfunction between his mom and his dad. Okay? He probably will see where his dad and the other men are talking about other women. He somehow finds out over the years that his dad is cheating on his mom, because he starts to see his mom get depressed and sad. Somehow he overhears them talking, or they start to fight, or somehow he hears his dad talking about other women. So this son is brought up in a house where his mother is doing all of this work, as well as still being expected to work because she got a good education, all of that. But then he also sees lack of gratitude from his dad, lack of affection from his dad. He sees his dad controlling his mother. He hears about cheating, and then very commonly also physical abuse. He starts to see his dad beat up his mom. Okay, he starts to see him talk to his mom as if his mom is some slave or servant. He sees all of that. So that's what he learns, right? That's what he learns. He learns that it's okay for men to cheat on women, for men to beat up women, for women to stand up in the kitchen and do everything all day and not be helped by anybody. So this cycle of toxicity and abuse just continues, because this is what this Black African boy is seeing. And then a lot of these fathers these days, I don't know where this trend came from, but they work in different countries or different continents. You'll see an African man who lives in the US, he works in an African country, he works in Dubai, he goes and comes, he's hardly home. So the family home is fractured. At the end of the day, it is the mother who ends up bringing up these sons. And if you've watched me, you've consumed my content enough, you know how I feel about that. Women were not built to raise boys. They were not built to raise boys into upstanding men. So what happens is, even though there's a father, there's a husband, he's hardly home, he's cheating, he's working, just doing his own thing, and it's the mother who's already stressed and depressed and abused that is raising this son. So you can see how this son is not going to be able to develop into a responsible man, responsible husband when he grows up. He's either going to be just like his father and be another narcissistic, toxic man who abuses his wife and controls his wife, or he will be this boy who has become so emotionally connected to his mom, because his mom, like I tell you all the time, has cuddled him, spoiled him, cuddled with O, not with you, has cuddled him, spoiled him so much that when he's an adult, he dwells in his femininity instead of his masculinity, and his mother doesn't let him go, because his mother is basically living her life vicariously through this boy. You guys see the picture, right? So he will either be that toxic, abusive man that he saw in his father, or he will be this overly feminized man who still cannot be a responsible man, a responsible husband, because he's so tied at the hips with his mother, and his mother has cuddled, spoiled him, and basically he's that husband that his mother never had. And he just becomes a feminine man who cannot, stand on his own as a masculine man. So this is what happens. And because of all of this disorder and dysfunction in African men, African women are starting to date outside their race because they want happiness. Because these African women, they are well brought up. They are hardworking. Most of them, I'm not saying all. There are some African women that are lazy, that want gold diggers, that want to get married to rich men. I'm not talking about those. But many, or in fact, I'll say most African women are very well educated, or they're industrious, they're good business owners, they want to marry their equal, and they are being abused by their African husbands. So they're starting to look outside their race because everybody wants happiness, everybody wants peace. So they're starting to look outside their race. And if you see the last several years, there has been a lot of African women. So then, in the past several years, African women have been opening their minds more to dating outside their race, especially those like me who are African women who live outside the African continent, because obviously if you live in the US or UK or somewhere else in the world, you will be able to meet men of other races. Not only are African women looking to date white men, they're also dating Asian men. And you'll notice that in the past several years, you've been seeing more of the combination of an African woman with a white man, or an African woman with an Asian man, or just somebody who's a non-African, because African women also want happiness and they want to date an equal partner. They want to date a man whose culture, it has enabled him to be a man that looks at a woman as an equal, not as a subordinate, not as somebody he can control, not as a slave or a servant, right? So because a lot of these women, they're, like I said, they're hardworking, they're industrious, and they also want to marry men who appreciate them, who help them in the home, who they can be equal partners with. And they cannot change the African culture. And this is why I'm taking it upon myself to raise awareness about this, so that we can stop this way of parenting our sons to where our sons look down on women. You know, so it is left to us to start to stop that and to start changing the narrative and parenting our sons to understand that women are not meant to be their slaves. Even in the Bible, it says it, love your wife, right? Love your wives as Christ loved the church. I'm not a Bible thumper, but God wants us to love each other. He wants us to respect each other. So African women are dating outside their race because of that. And you'll find that the combination, and you can check the statistics, the combination of an African woman or a black woman marrying a white man actually has the lowest rates of divorce. You can check it. It has the lowest rates of divorce because those two people, the African woman and the white man, tend to come together as equal partners. I'm not saying all of those unions are perfect. There's no perfect union, but they tend to be happier marriages. I'm one of those. And me being married to an Englishman, I'm telling you, you can't even, that will be a video for another day, which I've said many, many times. The difference in how my husband treats me to how my own Yoruba man, Nigerian man that I was married to for 15 years and who I was with for 23 years, how that marriage was. It was hell on earth. Not only was I married to him, I was married to his mother, who basically she ran the shots in my home. She controlled him, she dictated everything to him, and it was just hell on earth. And you see, I went through it, so I know exactly what it's like. So I do want to say one thing, that you'll find that it's usually the white men of European descent that are also more inclined to marrying African women. I'm not sure why. I think I can guess why. European men obviously are better traveled. They're better exposed to the rest of the world. American white men tend to be, if you live in America, especially in the south of America, you know what I mean. I live in Georgia, in the state of Georgia in the south. I'm sure there are many white American men who like the idea of being married to a black woman. I'm sure they're attracted to black women. But because of the segregation and the racism and the history, it's just not usually easy. There are many Americans that marry black women, but you'll find that more European men are more aligned to African women. Because again, in Europe, there's more Africans there. People are more open-minded. They're more globally minded. They know that there's a rest of the world aside from the US. White American men, with all due respect, a lot of them feel like, especially in the south of America, they feel like America is where it starts and ends. But European men are more globally minded, and they appreciate black women. They do. And now I'm seeing a lot of Asian combinations. I'm seeing a lot of black women marrying African women. Asian, there's so many combinations. Asian men marrying Black African women. Now, I want to talk about another combination here because I'm sure there's also many Black American women who follow my platform. What I've been describing up until now, I'm talking mostly about African women who grew up in Africa or who were born to African parents. But there's also my Black American sisters, which also kind of fall into this category of them also looking to date white men and looking to date outside their race. But there's a slight difference there. With African men, they tend to be quite well educated. So African men and African women tend to be educated similarly. It's just that African men are spoilt and coddled, and they're not taught how to have wives who will be their equal partners, how to love their wives, how to respect their wives. African men want to be respected, but they don't want to respect their wives. They just want to be the king of everybody, right? So they're well educated, but they just lack empathy and they lack the skills of how to run a home equally with their wife. The problem with the Black American population is that Black American women, yes, absolutely, many of them are also well educated. They're also industrious, resourceful. Not all, but like I said, not all African women are industrious. They are also well educated. They're increasing their education, getting masters, nurse practitioners, all of that. But unfortunately, in the Black American culture, there's less Black American men that are as well educated as Black American women. Black American women tend to be a lot better educated and just more industrious than Black American men. There's also, just like the Black African culture, there's many missing dads at home. Moms are the ones bringing up sons and daughters. There's also it's single moms, single Black American moms raising sons, raising daughters. And like I said, women are just not wired to raise men. So in the Black American culture, it's very similar. It's just that the men are not as well educated as the women. But again, it's that hunger. Black African women, Black American women, they have this hunger to be able to marry somebody who's their equal partner, somebody who shares life and sees life through the same lenses as them, who appreciates them, who doesn't control and kick them around as if they're just footmats or slaves or whatnot. So you see, it's a very complicated yet simple situation, but the solution starts with us. And this was me. This was my life. Okay, I met my Black Yoruba husband when I was 17. We met in medical school. Cut long story short, we knew each other for 23 years. We dated for 8 years. We're married for 15 years, but it was hell on earth because I married a mommy's boy. His mom was single. His mom raised him single-handedly, and you can just paint the picture. I basically was married to my mother-in-law who did not want to leave her son to have a peaceful marriage. So I decided after my divorce that I was going to date outside my race because I had 23 years of hell, and I'm like, that's enough. I'm not doing that again. And I was lucky to be in the US. I did date several white American men in the South, but like I said, white American men, that's another topic for another day. They like the idea of dating us, but when it comes to marriage, it's like there's just so much. Their parents won't like the idea. Their kids won't like the idea because, of course, I was dating 50-something-year-olds who'd been married before. So just that racism and prejudice didn't quite gel. But God brought me my English husband. We met on Match.com here in the South of the US, and he had an open mind. He had even visited Lagos, Nigeria 3 times on a work project. He had visited my own hometown 3 times before we ever met. So you can just imagine, and I had lived in England for 5 years before I came to the US. I had visited London every year from when I was 5 years old until I left at 23. So it's like we knew each other by the time we met. So this is why I'm saying that Black African women tend to attract men of European descent, right? Just take the European continent, Romania, Eastern Europe, Western Europe, they tend to like African women, especially, and I'm going to put this in there, especially the ones who are slim, slender, and not overweight or obese. I'm going to put it in there, and I know I'm going to step on some toes there, but many white men, most white men prefer their women to not be overweight or obese. And it's also good for us Black women to take care of ourselves. It's not just that we're doing it for men to like us, but we need to take care of our health. Being obese or overweight leads to so many health problems. So not only does it lead to health problems, it also reduces our attraction to other men. Of course, there will be some white men who like obese women, but I'm telling you that it will usually be an obese white man. You will not meet a white man who is of average weight who is attracted to an obese Black woman. It's just not going to happen. It usually will be that if he's overweight or obese too, he won't mind dating a Black woman who's overweight or obese. So if you're that woman who you're tired, you're sick and tired of being heartbroken by African men and you want to start dating outside your race, if you feel like you're a bit on the obese side, take care of yourself first. Take some years off and take care of your health and slim down. Okay, you yourself will feel more attractive, you'll feel more sexy, you'll feel sexier. So again, some people are not going to like this video, but for me, I don't care what people think. I'm here to help the people who are ready to be helped. So take care of your own health and wellness, take care of your own image, and men will notice you and they will be attracted to you. So I have nothing negative to say about the Black women, whether you're Black African or Black American and you're looking to date outside your race. Please go where happiness finds you. Go where respect finds you. Go where you'll find an equal man, an equal partner who will respect you, who will cherish you, who will love you, who will adore you. He doesn't have to be Black. He doesn't have to be African. And I'm going to end on this note, that there are also many Black African men who are also preventing their Black daughters, not preventing, not that they can tie them down, but they're discouraging their Black African daughters from marrying white men. Of course they would. Again, it's all about the ego thing. You will find all these Black African men who say, oh no, my Black daughter, she's never going to marry a white man. She must marry an African man. In fact, she must marry a man from our same culture. If we're Yoruba, she must marry a Yoruba man. If we're Iyabo, all that again is all of this egotistical, narcissist kind of behavior. So what's happening is these men know that a lot of Black women are starting to date outside their race, but because it affects their esteem, it affects their low self-esteem, their self-esteem, which is already low, they're preventing their daughters, affecting the mindset of their Black daughters that they must never date outside their race. They must only date African men. You see what's going on here? Let your daughters go where happiness finds them. Okay? Because if you as a Black man, you're not treating your daughters well, why are you preventing your daughters from you're not treating your wife well? Why are you preventing your daughter from going to find happiness? So I've noticed that trend too amongst Black African men, telling their daughters that they must never marry a white man, that they want them to marry into the African culture. African culture is the best. African culture is the best, yeah, if it's a positive family. But there's so much dysfunction going around. So I hope this video helped. It's a fully loaded one. Please watch it a few times. Share it with people who'd like to learn from it. Please post a comment. Let me know your thoughts about this. But I want to end by saying, my dear Black sisters, whether you're Black African or you're Black American, go where love and respect finds you. Go where a man is going to cherish you, love you, respect you, be loyal to you, not cheat on you with a million other women, not beat you up every day, not talk to you as if you're some trash. Go where love and respect and loyalty finds you. I love you all. God bless you.